First speaker is Crystal Cornelison, and then David Anderson.
Good evening. I stand before the City Council today out of fear and disbelief that my employers are going to have to close their doors and all of their employees are going to be standing in the unemployment line. Dory and Brian Erickson, owners of Big B Construction, are doing everything possible to prevent this from happening, and it's heartbreaking to watch them have to fight for their company that they have worked so hard for. I also stand before this council in shock and outrage. The city of Elk Grove is responsible for the dire situation that has become for Big B. Big B was forced to remove and replace a lot of concrete at the Elk Grove Aquatic Center because of what was clearly a bad design. This could have been avoided if the city had listened to the initial concerns that Big B brought up about the issue. On July 24th, 2018, the city notified Wildan Engineering that they had considered the nature and extent of the cracking and spalling, and the determination based on the evidence and research they did was that Wildan was responsible for any loss or damages that the city incurs. The city demanded that Wildan and SWA prepare a revised design that would not result in the uncontrolled cracking from the original design. Big B removed and replaced the concrete at the city's demand out of good faith they would be compensated, only to find out later that outside of Big B's presence, the city and the design team were trying to find any possible way to shift financial responsibility onto them. The city standing that this was in proper design was evident in July, August, September, October. On October 10th, after Big B had already started removing the concrete, their stance was still that it was Wildan's responsibility to provide a design that would not result in failure. Why would they provide a new design if it wasn't a design error? Big B Construction has not been reimbursed for any of the costs associated with the new design, and in fact are being sued by the city of Elk Grove. For what, it's not exactly clear. The Aquatic Center has been open since May, so I assume there's nothing wrong with the concrete. The city's current position today that somehow Big B is in any way responsible for failing is unreasonable, unjustified, and definitely not in good faith. I would say it's a breach of public trust and an abusive position by city officials and their private sector accomplices. It's no secret that Wildan is a very large campaign contributor. According to the city's own internal communications, they are well aware they are violating the law and something has to be done. So members of the council, can I stand in front of you today with hope that this nightmare will be ended, with hope that Big B is paid for the work that they did, and with hope that you guys will do the right thing?
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is David Anderson. Following David is Brian Erickson.
Mr. Mayor, while our next speaker is coming up, I do want to let you know that I have to leave at 8 o'clock for family obligation.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is David Anderson, and I would like to speak in support of Big B and the dispute with the city about the Aquatic Center. I am not an employee of Big B, although I have known Brian for 12 years. For citizens and council members to hear the facts of the design problems at the Aquatic Center and how Big B has been victimized, go to YouTube and look for contractors sued by Elk Grove Speaks Out, discusses Aquatic Center design. The real problem today with the future of Big B in the city of Elk Grove is the city did not pay its bill. I would expect staff to get defensive and try to blame Big B for something, but the fundamental facts don't change. Big B did exactly what they were supposed to do. That fact is validated by a professional firm that acts as the independent inspector of record that monitors and records all actions by Big B. They found no fault by Big B. Big B does not share any responsibility for design. They did, in fact, point out apparent deficiencies that were summarily disregarded by the city's design professionals. If the city council or staff feel otherwise about Big B's obligation for design, you would be in violation of state law on many levels. The city ordered Big B to remove the concrete that staff had acknowledged failed because of design deficiencies. The city also ordered Big B to replace the failed concrete with a new city-furnished revised design. The city has not paid for any of these directives to Big B. However, the design firm has received additional monies to create the new revised design, although the reason for the initial failure can be laid at their doorstep. The city of Elk Grove appears to be the municipal equivalent of a deadbeat dad that ignores an abundantly clear obligation to pay its bills. Elk Grove has sued Big B for damages. That would be fine if you had any. You didn't pay for anything. And if staff is telling you that you are entitled to late charges, you need a new staff. The truth is that Big B is entitled to extended home office overhead for problems created by the city and its design team. This city council is placing Elk Grove in financial peril by willful ignorance and indifference. You should redeem yourselves and do the right thing and put this shameful episode in the past. I would like to encourage all citizens to learn the facts and view the YouTube video, Contractor Sued by Elk Grove Speaks Out, discusses aquatic center design. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brian Erickson. Following Brian Erickson is Kevin Gainsley.
I'm Brian Erickson, Big B Construction, owner of Big B Construction. And first, I'd like to ask if any of you read the information I left 2 weeks ago. Started it. Thank you, thank you. Surprised I didn't get a paycheck for that. 12/18 council meeting. Bob Murdoch, in his report to the council, states that he has design problems at the Commons Aquatic project. He then states that there is liquidated damage valued at $7,400 a day, with a figure of roughly 180 days that they plan to get at the end of the project. Then Bob asked for $1.4 million so he could pay the contractors to get the job done, and after the project was done, he would sit down and talk about and get money back for this. The monies being held from Big B are clearly held in malice. Just recently, some $3 million was allotted for Wildan to continue projects for the city, when Wildan is the responsible party for the faulty design and the removal and replacement of nearly 50,000 square feet of concrete at the aquatics project. It is of my opinion the city of Elk Grove and Wildan have worked in collusion on the aquatics project. I say this due to the fact that Alvin Wong is the city's architect and an employee of Wildan, making this a clear conflict of interest. It is also known that Wildan gives legal contributions to the council members. So in my mind, it seems that Wildan is running the city of Elk Grove.
I understand that we're in a lawsuit, and so there's not a lot that we can discuss with respect to Big B. But I do know that when the work was being performed, we kind of knew that there was probably a little bit of blame to go around, some of which might have been design, some of which might have been installation, some of which might have been material. And we do not contract, or did not contract directly with Big B. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our contract is with a general contractor, Arntz Construction.
And so we don't technically owe them directly any money.
That's right. There is no privity of contract with them. So any money would be between the city and Arntz Construction.
And where are we with settling up? Or is that still a part of contention of the overall lawsuit and responsibility for the shoddy work?
It's still an active
lawsuit.
It's still an active lawsuit. So we'll be going to mediation later this year.
And is there any remedy or line of communication we can provide to give them advice on with whom their material interest lies? Because for them to come and make accusations of campaign contributions and other things when we're not even the ones paying them.
Mm-hmm. Our attorney has been in contact with their attorney in attempts to provide that direction.
Okay. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, we're talking about a compassionate city. Here's a family that has their livelihood on the line. Maybe some fault of their own, maybe not. Maybe they're being hung out to dry by a bigger fish. I don't know. But I get that we're in a lawsuit, but is there anything we can do to at least provide them some direction, some remedy, let them know that we're not trying to take them out? I mean,
So.
and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, because I understand that there's legal ramifications. You have to be careful what you can and can't say. Obviously, Mr. Hobbs isn't here because of a situation in his family.
Sure.
So I'm not trying to put you in an uncomfortable position, but I'm just saying, to listen to the story that's being told, you know, I mean, it stinks. And I know that we didn't do anything.
Right.
Other than demand that something look right, and there is some blame to lay somewhere.
That's correct.
But that that in and of itself shouldn't drive somebody out of business.
Right. The city is attempting to work with the general contractor to try to resolve some of these situations. We were working on that as early as a couple hours ago. So the staff is not sitting on its laurels. We're attempting to address the situation to the best we can, both inside and outside of the courtroom.
And so our lawsuit with Big B is to preserve remedy to the extent if they're found to have had some fault in their workmanship. I mean, are we just throwing spaghetti at the wall at this point because we don't know where the real issue is?
We're not throwing spaghetti at the wall. They're included due to some concerns with the workmanship. So I think that's probably the most I can say. So.
Okay. And I understand that you've got to be cautious and you can't reveal strategy, but I'm trying to get to the heart of, you know, the situation with respect to, I take them at face value that this is probably a big enough chunk of their cash flow that, you know, I'm just, the idea of sinking a business doesn't sit well with me, but whatever, we're in a lawsuit, so I guess that's how it goes.